I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash. So I just came by. So we'll start with Apple announced digital ID, and we know that will tie into the mark of the beast. I want to get in 2 Corinthians 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So Satan, being Esau Edom, so-called white man, the devil, the top banking families, the wicked elites, the small hatters that rule the earth, we're not ignorant of their devices. The whole elect is not ignorant of their devices, of what they're trying to do. They're trying to crash the economy, bring out a digital currency and universal basic income, so they can have full control over the world. And we know they're doing that because on November 12th, Wednesday, pretty sure, Wednesday, not exact on the date, but Wednesday they made the last pennies. So they stopped making pennies. And now there's no more pennies going into the economy. They're trying to be done away with physical cash, physical currency. And that's going to play into the hyperinflation. Go to Revelation 6, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So that's going into how hyperinflation is going to kick up. And the last pennies being made, that's going to play a part in hyperinflation going up. Because we know that Esau Edom is trying to crash this economy quickly as possible. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, the true name, who the world really calls God, Bahashem, in the name of Yahushua, the true name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua are destroying America from within, and they're getting everyone turned on against them. You have Trump making wars with Nigeria, Venezuela, and having contentions with the EU, NATO. This is Revelation 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So we know that that's going to ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Because America will go to World War III and be destroyed. Because the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has written that judgment for America, Babylon the Great. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to bring all these nations into Valley of Yehoshaphat, Valley of Decisions, the Middle East, for the final World War. This is Joel, the 3rd chapter, starting at verse 1. For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning Judah and Jerusalem, southern kingdom and northern kingdom of the 12 tribes, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Yahweh Shai will free us from our final captivity, which is mainly in Babylon the Great and around the world. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shapai, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So Yahweh Shai is not going to, he's going to judge the nations. When it says plead, it means judge. He's going to judge the nations, the heathen nations, for what they've done to the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that also means, there'll be a draft. There'll be a draft because America does not have enough bodies. The military rate has been at its lowest it's ever been, because now the citizens of Babylon are starting to wake up and they're starting to see through the propaganda. So no one wants to go fight for the military anymore. So they're gonna have to bring back the draft for more people to fight in their armies. Because right now everyone's against Jacob, the so-called the men of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Everyone's against Jake. Even our own women are against Jake. The so-called black woman is against the Negro man, the so-called Negro man. If you've seen in recent clips, they've been saying, the so-called black woman, Eve, been saying that so-called black men need to be exterminated, from the help of white tea men. So for that, we're going to get Micah 7 verse 10. This is Micah 7 verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which saith unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So Eve is going to be trodden down as the mire of the streets by Yahweh Shai because she's proud. As it says in the curses of Deuteronomy, Eve will not be tender and delicate no more. Yeah, this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 56. the tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole upon her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. So due to the curses, Eve will be, not tender and delicate anymore. She will be against the husband and against the children. That's why Eve is getting government assistance, because Esau Edom, the devil, he promotes broken up houses to gain money off of them. So all this dividing and conquering that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the devil does, is for ultimate control. And we see how about Shimashai is making Babylon the Great hated. So when they go into World War III and those nukes are shot off, those ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles are shot off, Babylon the Great will be destroyed by 200 million ICBM missiles. Esau Edom, so-called white men, the top wicked elites, the top banking families, and the small hatters, is trying to push that RFID micro chip, the micro C hip, in your right hand or your forehead. This is Revelation 13, verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So without this RFID microchip implanted into you, you won't be able to participate in society. That's how wicked this devil is. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 606. So this mark will be replacing the physical money very soon. Because as we went over, the last pennies were made on November 12th, on Wednesday. They're made on Wednesday, November 12th. So there'll be no more pennies going into the economy. The economy's set to crash very soon. Okay. This is Ezekiel 7, verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. they shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block for their iniquity. Once this kingdom falls, that's it. The Israelites will be on top and rule. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans will rule forever. Everlasting kingdom. This is Daniel 2, verse 44. And in the days, these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. That's talking about the kingdom of Yahushua Mashiach.